Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is July's Q&A. Yes, it is July. Half of 2023 is gone. Did you get everything that you wanted to do this year? I definitely did not. In fact, I think I didn't do so well, but we will have a reflection, maybe video coming up soon. Today we're gonna do Q&A, so thank you again to everyone who's given me questions on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is here or down below in the description section. You can follow me there. I usually post a request for questions on my stories. So today I have some pretty heavy topics. I see something from the Luxury Live show. So let's get into it. It may be quite long. If it's too long, maybe I'll break this Q&A into two. I think there was one Q&A about like an hour long. That was way too long. So yeah, let's get into it. Eddie Tan 1987, 2 questions. How often should I be going to Hermes store to build the profile with my essay? Every week? If you can go every week, go ahead. But I don't know if that is financially wise. Every time you visit your essay, they would probably expect you to spend some money. If you can afford it, you do whatever you want to do. However, it will be very expensive and you will feel like your profile or your spend goes up really quickly. If you're ready for it, then go ahead. I can tell you when I started my journey, I did sort of do that and the spend accumulated really fast, very quickly. In a way, I don't know if I was really truly mentally prepared for that. I didn't expect myself to be like, oh my gosh, I'll get my bag so soon. The pro of doing that, I got my bag really fast. The con of doing that, it was such a spike in my spend, and Hermes is not cheap. I would say schedule your visits, how you would budget your luxury spend on a month-to-month basis. If you have a budget that you are okay to spend once a month, then maybe that would be your trip to the store. Weekly trips would expedite your profile building. But if you're in a country where you need to wait, even if you're spending a lot for your bag, it doesn't make a difference. You might as well just spread it out and have that slow, steady journey than something that's so swift that you may not be ready for. Your other question, are purchases of SLGs, example, Calvis, Bastia, Rodeos, counted as amount accumulated for quota bags? I've heard different comments about the purchases of SLGs and Rodeos, Calvi, Bastias, and all of that. Some say they do count, some say they don't. Frankly, I don't know. I think as an overall purchase, they do count. But if that's the only thing you purchase, like you only purchase Rodeos and you only purchase SLGs, I feel like they do take into account, as in Hermes, they do take into account. They look at your profile, you're like, wait a minute, she's just purchasing those really popular items that there's a possibility that you may resell. So they just may not want to count it towards your quota bag. If you have an overall purchase where you buy a variety of things, you buy ready-to-wear, clothing, shoes, you love the brand as a whole, I don't think 1 or 2 SLGs along that whole purchase history will make a difference because they do look at the overall spend. Once you are hitting a certain, pre-spend, then they'll say, okay, I think it's time for a bag. JLEWNJBCH. What is the pre-spend ratio for BKC in Singapore? This is only my speculation, so please don't hold this as gospel and this is the real thing. It's because Singapore has a lot of resellers. You can walk into a reseller store anywhere in Orchard, anywhere in Marina Bay Sands. Do they have any resellers? Oh, anyway, online stores. There are so many here that when you look at the price that they are selling brand new Birkins, Kellys, and Constances, the ratio is about 1:1. So if you want to buy a brand new Birkin, high demand color, gold, black, and it's new, like fresh out from the store, you can see that the top-up amount is about a 1. If you're just doubling the payment. So if Hermes is going to make you spend 3-4 times, it doesn't make sense. So I think they do know. They do monitor the resale market and say that, okay, roughly if she spends about close to 1, it's about time to offer her a bag. Otherwise, you will lose her as a customer. She'll be like, why is this store making me spend 4 or 5 times when I can take that money and buy 2 Birkins outside, brand new, from the reseller, and get everything, receipt, the full package, and get the color that I want and not be at the mercy of Hermes. So I feel, this is again speculative, that because there are so many resellers here locally, that it just doesn't make sense for the stores to stretch the customers and make it not fair for us. Gia Mulani, what do you think of Hermes Desidor and Cargo Birkin bag? Which color would you get? It's gorgeous. So my friend has the disorder bag. I don't know what it's called. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Like if you carry that bag, you know you're Hermes VIP because they only offer it to the VVIPs. Similarly, like the Cargo Birkin, it's also one of those highly sought after VIP bags. If I were to get one, I will definitely get like my friend's gold on gold disorder bag. And for the Birkin Cargo, actually I like it in a dark color because it's like you can see it from afar, but you're not sure like what's wrong with that Birkin. Why it's got like pockets outside? It just feels more like under the radar, like cargo, you know? Margaret.miss, any kids? No, I don't have kids. It's me and my hubby all by ourselves. Chris_Tan1111. What are your short-term and long-term goals for your YouTube channel? I don't have any goals for my YouTube channel. I just like it as a hobby, and it's been very fulfilling because I've met a lot of people through this platform. I've met good friends as well. Clara, met Amy, and hopefully one day I'll get to meet up with Isabel. There's just so much awesome vibes coming out from the YouTube community, at least for the luxury community. I guess the goal is to continue what I'm doing now. In fact, I'm trying to step up my game a bit. However, it's been tough with real life work. I treat this as a hobby, as something that I enjoy, a little freedom of learning and talking and practicing my presentation skills, practicing my speech as well, because I'm not a really good speaker. I always find myself struggling to find the words. If YouTube is still around for the next few years, I hope to be around, so that's, I guess, the long-term goal. Sesson loves, how do you store your bags? I don't have a proper storage. A lot of YouTubers will have a beautiful background with all their bags laid out, outside of the dust bag and just display beautifully. I don't. I just put the bags back into their original box. I wrap it up with dehumidifiers and I keep them covered. This is the way I store it because of where I live. I live here in Singapore. It's very humid. Putting the bags outside in this humid climate is actually no good because it will expose the bag to moisture, and moisture means bacteria. It'll be moldy. So I usually do keep my bags back in the box. I do check them regularly because you don't want to keep it in the box, then it will dry up the leather because there's no humidity. So long story short, I just keep my bags in their boxes and I will check on them on a regular basis. Tiffany2123, what is your daily routine? Ooh, interesting. Well, wake up in the morning, lie on bed, play with my phone. I know it's really bad. I should jump out of bed, but that is truly my routine. I'll wake up, I'll be like, oh, I'm struggling. Then I'll play with my phone a little bit, struggle in bed for an hour or so. And if I'm feeling good, I'll do some stretches. But on a daily, like usually, I would just wash up, get ready, and if I'm going to the office for the day, then I will get ready and go to the office. Whole day office. If I'm not going to the office, I'm working from home that day, whole day sitting right here where I am, doing my work, taking calls. And then at night, I will go to the gym. So I usually either go to the gym for myself or I'll go to the gym and teach a class. And then I'll come home and that's it. That's all my day. It is literally wake up, work, gym, and then I'll come home and eat. So I usually eat dinner very late. That is a daily routine. Next question, you want to remain anonymous. In the luxury live show, you said you had depression. Can you share and how you overcome it, if that's okay? Alright, so thank you for watching that luxury live show. If you haven't watched it, I will link it down below. It was the 50 facts, random facts about myself and Amy, and it ran for 2 hours. We were just talking about all the facts. So one of the facts towards the end, which is why I say thank you, because it was right at the end, like number 23 or something. I shared that I am a fairly easygoing person, and that I don't let things get to me for too long, or at least try not to let it sit on me too much. I'm okay to share because I did say that I had depression a while back. I did talk about it in one of my older videos, and I don't recall right now if I have kept it on public or I've put it on private, because it was, I don't know, I felt like it was time to share, and talking about it does help. So if you watch that, then you can skip forward, but let's just revisit it, because if it helps somebody out there, then I'm happy. It happened when I was 20. I am 41 this year, so 20 years ago, and it feels like a lifetime ago. There are demons, but it was another person, another life. So when I was 20, I had a few hiccups, roadblocks along the way, and I think I was in a very vulnerable state. I was very insecure and not confident that when those incidences happened, which I'll talk about, I fell into a state of self-harm. Now, why did I go into self-harm? Maybe I'll bring back a few more years before that. So I remember this like the back of my head. I can, it's like one of those memories that you have in your life that you will always remember. Like, some childhood memories, you can't really remember it, but it sort of like feels like a dream. This is one memory that I had. And it's not that I was so bothered by it, but I think it definitely kicked off a bit of insecurity in me. So, obviously, it has something to do with body image. You're talking about 20 over years ago, where most things that you see in magazines are skinny girls, skinny this, pretty girls, pretty models. You don't see what we see today, where everybody is celebrated, whatever shape and size and look and color you are. So we're talking about 20 years ago. I was about 15 or 16, and we were a bunch of friends, and I remember going jogging with them. We were just, trying to be, a group that we want, let's go up and climb this little hill, like a little hike. And I was wearing a pair of shorts, and I was with my girlfriends in front, and there was this guy, this boy, not even a guy, okay, this boy. At the back, I remember really clearly, he said, "Ew, cellulite." And I was like, what? I never had body image before that. I know, you want to be pretty, you want to have, you want to look good. When you're a teenager, you want to look good. And I didn't understand things like cellulite, puberty, and you just don't understand. You saw stretch marks, so you're like, oh, what's that? But when the boy says, ew, cellulite, I remember that. It definitely affected me. I was like, what? Cellulite? What is that? And obviously, we just brushed it off. But it kept with me. I kept feeling like, ooh, how do I get rid of this? So from then on, I think I was 16, from then on, I began my fitness journey. It was that point where I started to do more jogging. I would be more serious with my school PT. Let's do little sit-ups. But I started to be very aware of my body image, and it didn't escalate yet. But I was fairly fit. I would do my walks, I would do my runs, I'll do sit-ups at home. But it never turned into anything bad at that point. Then when I went overseas to study in Australia, again, long time ago, we're not exposed to international travel. I was away from my family for the very first time, living on my own in Australia. It was a different environment, different food, different lifestyle, different friends, different experiences. And I gained a little bit of weight, okay? I gained a little bit of weight then. And I was dark and tan, I was eating pasta and pizza and all that. So I gained a little weight, but it wasn't something that I was aware of. So nobody said, wow, okay, you're fat. Nobody said that. But I did definitely put on a bit of weight, and in today's day and age, I think you would say, that looks kind of cute, like chubby. But when I came home, I did get some comments, and it started to really affect me. I was thinking, what's happening? Why can't I control this thing? I was clever, I was smart, I was really hardworking, and again, I was very competitive. That was another nature of me as a character. So when I went back I was feeling very, very insecure about my body. I was feeling very insecure about myself. So at 20, I was in a relationship, and for some reason we broke up. It was a breakup that really struck me. Okay, I didn't have any support structure when I was alone. So though I had friends, but I didn't have people that I didn't know how to express emotion then. So I started to take control on something that I thought I couldn't control, which is food. So I did self-harm. So I was, this is hard to say actually. So I had like sweaty palms a little bit, but I think I was falling into a little state of depression. I was feeling really, really sad about myself, very unconfident. Even though on the outer shell I was, doing well. People were seeing me excelling in my studies. I was also part-time working. But inside, I was feeling helpless. I was feeling like, why is these things happening? Why do I feel lonely? Why did my boyfriend break up with me? Is it my face? Is it my looks? So when I started my exercise journey, I took it to the next level. I started to run every single morning. I would run 10 kilometers. I would wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and I started to run, and I started to really over-exercise, and something that I felt like I could control, right? I would run on the treadmill every single day. That run in the morning, study hard, do everything, and then run again at night. I was just going a little overboard with my exercising. And on top of that, I started to be a little bulimic. So I would eat because I was controlling, right? This is that control character that I had. I would puke my food out. So it's not something that, you see in TVs, right? Where they would like, easily put their finger down their throat and then just come out. No, it's not easy. And it took a lot of practice for me to perfect the skill. And I could do it on demand. So it felt so wrong, but it felt so good. And it felt like I was controlling something that I couldn't control. I hated myself for it. And I was falling deeper and deeper and deeper into this point where it transitioned from being bulimic to be anorexic. So I started to not only not eat, I would eat a little bit and that would go out. So I was floating between the two, and this lasted in just like I think about 2 years. By the time I graduated, I was half the size. So I remember when I stepped on the weighing scale, when I saw my weight at 58, 59 kilos then, it plummeted to 40, or I think it hit 39. Yeah, it was really low. But I didn't see it. I just saw my clothes fit better. I saw that I was controlling something. I had a bit of body dysmorphia. When I looked at the mirror, I just didn't like what I saw. I hated how I looked. I thought, oh my gosh, my face is chubby. I saw that, why are my hips still big? But, if I think back those days, I was a bag of bones. My hip bone protruded out, my rib cage, my wrist was like just literally, it's this, but worse. Like I didn't have this forearm. No, man. It was bad. If I have some pictures, I'll put it, but please, this is trigger warning because it was so bad. All of this, right, I will put on a brave face. My mom was shocked. Okay, my mom was shocked when she saw me. My parents were just horrified. They thought I was sick. I wouldn't eat. And it was just a whole phase of hate. I just hated myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I felt. I was still doing everything. I was working. I was everything outside world. They saw me smiling. But I hated myself. I hated how I felt every time I ate something. I hated every time I couldn't finish a run. I was self-harming. So it was also a period where I became a little bit like a hermit. I didn't go out, literally distance all my friends because I didn't want them to look at me and ask me, hey, why are you not eating? I didn't like them watching me when I eat. I didn't like them just commenting on my looks. It just made me feel even more self-aware. I lost friends. I just did not want to talk to anyone. I distanced myself from all the good friends that I had. I just did not want to be seen. I don't want to talk to anyone. I hated everyone. But outside, I'm smiling. I'm still working. I'm still doing what I'm meant to do in the society's eyes. but I was not happy. I was falling deeper into this depressive state because he was so thin and I was so malnourished. I also, as a female, once your period stops, your menstrual cycle stops, you're in deep shit. So yeah, I didn't have any of that, no, for like months. And then I think, I don't know what was the reason, but I went to see a doctor for a blood test or something. And obviously I was really thin, right? So the doctor was one of those doctors that, if you ever are a doctor, please never say this to a patient, because I feel like the doctor never had EQ. The doctor said to me, "You're very thin, huh?" Then he checked me and said, "Why are you so thin?" I said, I don't know. I became defensive, and the doctor said, "Are you anorexic? You don't eat, is it? Are you anorexic?" I mean, it's like I know, but I'm in denial as well. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not ready to talk about it. Get away from it. I said, "No." Obviously, the doctor can see that I am, but it was so aggressive and defensive that I felt I was being accused of going through what I was going through. I remember, I feel like I'm going to cry. I remember walking out of that clinic scared and afraid that it's my fault, Oh my God. Wow. I didn't expect this. It definitely brought back some memories. I felt that I was disappointing everyone. That was one of the lowest points of the whole experience that I had. I felt that I was a disappointment to my family, to my friends, that I have lost control of me, meaning I couldn't control. When it first started, I thought I was in control. I thought I was in control of my exercises. I thought I was in control of my eating, and I was, dieting. But because it's gone on for like 4 or 5 years, I forgot what it was like to control that. It felt like it was taking over my life, that I only had negative thoughts about myself. I only thought like I was disappointing my mom, the doctor's not helping me. It was hard. Felt that I was so alone in that period, that I still need to function. I still need to go to work. I still need to do this. I would come home. I would hide in my room. I didn't know who to turn to. I just didn't want to tell my mom. I didn't want to tell my dad. I just wanted it to all go away because I felt like a failure. It was so strange. Like, I hated my body. I hated myself. But at the same time, I felt like I didn't know what to do anymore. That I never wanted to say I wanted to leave the world, but I think I have so much love from my family, my mom. I felt that I needed to get well. So I don't recall exactly what was the tipping point, but just like I shared in that live, that one day I just woke up and I stopped smoking. I think a little bit of that old cat kicked up, because somehow I decided that I needed to stop being this person that was disappointing everyone. It's so crazy. I just don't even know how to put it into words. Like, I literally willed myself, and I'm not saying I'm strong. If I was strong, I wouldn't be in that shit space, okay? But I wasn't. I was weak, I was vulnerable, and it just went downhill from there. But maybe some little bit of part of me felt that I needed to pull out of it, because I didn't want to hurt people anymore. I didn't want to hurt my mom. I didn't want to hurt my dad. I didn't want to see them like look at me like, what can they do? So it took a while, okay? It was another 5 years of accepting myself, and it was step by step. I struggled to go out. I would go out, but I would be really, really, like, I would just be watching everyone, because I don't want him to watch me. I had no more friends, I didn't know who to call, and I had to be so selective on who I went out with. So I had one or two friends, and obviously my friend Shareem came into my life then, and she was this new entity in my life. So she didn't know, but all she saw was this skinny girl, and I knew she knew, but she didn't say anything, and she just cared for me. But because she was this new element in my life, that she didn't see the past cat, she didn't see the really like 39 kilo cat, she saw maybe the 42 kilo, because I was in a little bit of a recovery phase, but still really small, like really like scrawny. She was my hook, that I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out with Shareem today. And all these things that I'm saying to you were battles in my head. Like outside you'll be like, yeah, let's go out, yeah, okay, let's go out. But inside, oh my god, the internal turmoil was insane. It was like a demon fighting, like saying, you really want to go out? Are you sure you want to go out? You gotta eat that pizza, you gotta do this, you gotta see what you're gonna wear. It was just a crazy conversation that I was having with myself, undermining my strength to go out and to live. I was just like, maybe I don't want to go. You know when introverts say, like, they'll make excuses not to go out? It was that times 1 million. It was just like, I didn't want to go out. I would just sit there like, I don't want to go. And I would say, no, I gotta go. And I'm not hearing voices. It was just this struggle to fight the urge to be at this comfortable place, and it took a lot being able to eat again, because I would eat like one hot dog this is not a hot dog, but one hot dog, and I would feel sick. It was like this food in my stomach that felt so illegal, like a foreign painful thing that was stabbing my stomach. I cried, like I would eat it, then my mom would say, you go upstairs, because she thought I was going to puke, right? But I'll be like, no, I'm going upstairs, and I would run upstairs and I would sit next to the toilet bowl like, you can do this, Kat, you can do this, just keep it in. And it was fighting. I would cry at myself. It's like, I can't do this myself. I didn't have resources like a dietitian, a place to go rehab, because obviously I didn't want anybody to know, even though everybody knew, but I didn't want anybody to know. It's like, I'll do it myself, I would sit there and I would hug the toilet bowl. How gross, right? But I would tell myself, you can do this. And sometimes I would even force myself to go out. It was so difficult, but I think that having love in the family helped me turn on that switch to say that there is so much that I owe to people to be better. Like, why are you this place now? I can confidently say I was pretty much out of it once I hit my 30s. I don't do any of this anymore. I eat, as you watched all my vlogs. I love food. I've always loved food. But it was a period of time where food became an enemy to me. My body became an enemy to me. I became an enemy to myself. It took 10 years from my life, which is why I never want to go back to that place again, that dark place where I doubt myself. I don't love myself. Food and exercise were my tools to use to control what I felt I couldn't control. But I feel like at the core of it, I didn't understand why I was unhappy. I fell into something that I felt like I was losing control of many things. So I used food and I used exercise to hold on to something that I felt was familiar, was something that I can, hone on to create that control, to create that stability. But obviously it became self-harm. I think what pulled me out of it was the support structure that not the support structure, I think I lost the support structure as well, from friends and all, but I felt like my core that I knew that I was so loved, that pulled me out. It's so deep. I knew that I had to do something because there was love. Like, it was just from my parents, from my brother. I had to make the choice. I don't think I would be here if I decided to continue and not make a change. It was so comfortable to be sad and depressed and unhappy and just empty. Love got me out of it. My mom, seeing her smile and seeing me eat the food again that she would cook. You know, in a Chinese family, when the mom cooks good food, it's like, and for seeing your daughter like not even eating a grain of rice or eating too much and you know she's gonna puke it out. How much pain I put her through. It was bad. So I'm glad the phase of my life, of that life, is over. Body image is, I don't know, it's like a fire starter. You know, it starts off something and then it can just go. But my predisposition is I'm pretty insecure. Like I said, I'm introverted. I may be extroverted outside. What advice can I give to you if you know someone, right, that is going through this, or you suspect somebody is going through this? I would say that just be around. Be that support structure that is there for them. But don't ask them. You know, don't push them like what the doctor did to me, because I don't want to hear it. Okay, your friend doesn't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want you to acknowledge it unless they are willing to acknowledge it. When they are willing, it's possible they're on the road for recovery. Like, I can talk about it now because it's over. It's a past life. But if you ask me to talk what I just said to you like this on this video, that time, no way. I wouldn't even know how to articulate it. I wouldn't even know how to even express it. It would just come out like, no. It would come out like that. Be there. Just be there. Something that they know that when they're ready, they can reach out. Oh my gosh, I got tissue all over my face. That was heavy. So let's continue with the Q&A. Dewi Chong, how do you take care of your Hermes ready-to-wear items? Which laundry service do you usually visit? I haven't sent any of my Hermes clothes to the laundry dry cleaning because I don't have any. Oh, well, I do have, but I actually just throw them into the wash. Yep, I put them in the net and I just dump them into the washing machine, but at a very, very short cycle because, you know, I'm not running in a marathon in my Hermes clothes. So a light, quick wash, so far so good. Steph Liu, you have 2 questions. Most comfortable shoes for work. Please exclude heels. There are 2 that I love right now. Number 1 is the Miu Miu Ballerina flats. Oh, I love them so much. They are very flat, so you feel like you're walking on the floor. So if you need a bit of padding, they are not for you. The second one, which is actually really comfortable, are the Hermes Paris loafers. Loafers are just the best kind of non-fancy heel shoe, but still looks very presentable. They are a little bit more, I guess, masculine, but at the same time, it can look really feminine on depends on how you dress it up. Your other question, favorite Apple Watch strap? I actually just like the regular silicone strap that I got with my Hermes watch. I did get one from Amy, which is the leather strap. I like the just single leather strap. Miles in Sid, where do you usually sell your bags? Any recommendations? I actually use consignment stores to help me sell my bags now. I used to do it on my own, but it's just a lot of work and I just don't have the time. Plus, I'm kind of just over dealing with all the back and forth and low ballers. If I were to sell them to my subscribers on my channel, I would do it as a members live. I'll give who I know are true buyers first dibs. I do sell it on my own Instagram as well. I put it there, but it's not a place that I would expect sales. So I've used Lux Lexicon. I've used Love Lots Luxury to do help me sell, and there's obviously a commission, but it's pretty high. But I'd rather pay that price than to do it myself. Miss Jean.P. Have you been to Woodleigh Mall? It's good addition for catwalk. Love your raw vlogs. Oh, thank you. I have not been to Woodleigh Mall. I'll definitely add it to my to-do list or to visit list, and I'll put it for a catwalk. Dear Heart Lane, best hotel to stay in Singapore. Oh my gosh, I actually don't know because I've always been renting here in Singapore. Actually, I do, well, no, you know what? I've stayed before at Marina Bay Sands. Really nice. I do think that If you're visiting Singapore for the first time, you don't mind spending a bit, splurging, Marina Bay Sands, even though it's old, they have refurbished one side of the tower, like the new tower too. It's really nice. You get a view of the whole hotel and then the outside into the shipyard, into the ship and the ocean, I guess. And there's another one. Park Royal is also really nice. I like M Hotel, which is a Soho kind of hotel. I haven't stayed in many hotels. I think Google would be the best place to tell you which is the best hotel. Anastasia Girl says, Chanel bag shopping in Japan. Your thoughts? I think it's a really good place to get authentic, vintage, or at least resold or second-hand Chanel handbags. There's something about Japan that just seems to have so much of this stock, and because it's actually illegal to sell fake things in Japan, you can pretty much be very sure it's authentic. However, still do your due diligence. If you're gonna buy secondhand, do an authentication even after you come back from Japan. adjd.td. If you can change the size and color of each of your Hermes bags, what would it be? Great question. I won't change anything about my Kelly 25 gold on gold. It's perfect. I wouldn't change the size of my Birkin 25. I love it. I love it in gold hardware. But I've spoken about this before. I think I shouldn't have gone with black. Maybe a different kind of neutral, like tan or taupe or even gold would be great. Black is it's good, but it's serious, and it's a color that I don't necessarily want to reach for all the time, especially living here in Singapore and in Malaysia. It's such a sunny place. You know, it should be brighter. So I would probably go with a different kind of dark color. I love my Constance. I love it in the Nata color, and I love my mushroom. So I think the only one would be my Birkin that I would change. Alexandra Elena Christy? I think it's Christy. Hey Kat, hope you're doing well. What's your favorite perfume for summer? So it's summer all year round in Singapore and in Malaysia. It's just a hot kind of countries. These are the ones that I go for when it's just really muggy and just like, can't be wearing heavy perfumes. I like the Jo Malone Wood Sage and Sea Salt. It's fresh. It's got that kind of like sea breeze because it's got that sea salt smell to it. I like this on a summer's night because it's just, you know, maybe more deep at night. It's really nice. And then I like the Maison Francis Kurkdjian MFK perfumes. Aqua Celeste as well as A La Rose, also fresh perfumes. A La Rose is more floral, sweet. Well, no, it's not really sweet, but it's also very floral, fresh because it's got the rose to it. And then the Aqua Celestia, my nose a little stuffed after all that crying, but this is, I smell citrusy. So citrus, I smell a bit of like orange, lime, lemon, so very nice one. And then of course I love, this is my all-time favorite, Petite Sherry from Anik Goutal. Oh my gosh, this is a sweet perfume, pear. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Of course, if I had to only pick one, I would go with Petite Sherry Petite Sherry from Anik Goutal. This is, you can use it for winter time as well. It's not offensive at all. Everyone that has smelled this on me would say, what a nice perfume, so pleasant, so lovely. Stella_KP, you have 2 questions. Do you miss other brands, or is Hermes worth it? Good question. I actually have a video coming up, or at least I'm planning it, to talk about what's next. Like, what brand do I chase after? Because it's all about chasing for something, right? Especially if you love handbags, always looking for something else. What's there? Like after Hermes, or do I go back to other brands? Not go back. I shouldn't use those, are like bad words. Like as if Hermes is the one and only. It's not. But you know, in a way, for a person who's been chasing all the other brands, I've done Balenciaga, Bottega, LV. I've done them all. And then now it's Hermes, and I'm just wondering, you know, do I miss other brands? I'm gonna answer your question, you know what, in a video, because I have been thinking about it. So great question. Let me answer it another time. Your other question, how are you doing? Thank you. My gosh, thank you so much. Other than the cry earlier on, which is so triggering, but I think I'm doing well. You know, it's... If you're asking me because of that last vlog that I did where, you know, I bawled my eyes out, yeah, that was a hard time. I'm such a sensitive soul sometimes, but I can be quite like emotional as well. I'm doing much better. July is another tough month. It's not as tough as, I guess, my friend's birthday month, but July is the month she actually passed away, so I'm not gonna cry anymore. I've cried enough for the past few weeks, and previously I'm tearless. It's just one of those things. I think I'm doing okay. You know, I'm always doing okay. Like I said earlier, I always had this positive mindset, and I try not to dwell on things. Na2_, 2 questions. Oran, Santorini, Cyprus. Which is the most comfortable and least comfortable? Wow, I only have Orans, so unfortunately I won't be able to answer this. Santorini, I don't have. I think you mean the Cyprus. I don't know if that's a shoe. If that's a shoe, I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the Santorinis. I haven't tried the Cyprus shoes. Orans, they are comfortable for me, but I know for a lot of people they are not comfortable because they're very flat and very hard. So when you walk on them, you feel like you're walking on like planks, right? Yeah, unfortunately, I can't help you with the Santorinis or Cypresses. Other question, how many hours do you usually sleep? I need about 6 hours of sleep. I'll fall asleep around 1 every night, and I automatically wake up around 6:30. And I wake up like, I just wake up, but doesn't mean I get out of bed. So if I look at that, it's about 5.5, 6 hours of sleep. It's enough. If I can get solid 6 hours, I feel really rested. Like today, I feel really rested. I had a good solid 6 hours. I slept around, yeah, just before 12:30. I think I slept, yeah. Then I woke up at 6:30. So to me, it's really good. If I can get 7, would be awesome. Anything more than that, I feel like I've overslept and I've got like backache. Jack_Q_JL Tan. Hi Kat, how long did you have to wait for your first quota bag? 7 months and still nothing from me. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, as mentioned earlier, I actually went on a mission for my first Hermes bag. After hearing all the advice from friends and, you know, watching YouTube, apparently you need to do a really quick spend, like really be strategic, buy every single thing from every single department, spend. So I went a little crazy and I got it very quickly. Very, very quickly. Like within less than 2 months and I got my bag, but I spent a lot, okay? I spent a lot and I went in all crazy. Having said that, it's also during the mid of the pandemic, so maybe they had a bag for me at that time. Now I have heard that it can take up to a year to get a bag, and this is coming from my essay. My essay said when you got your bag that time, it was just stroke of luck, stroke of timing, obviously spending, but also it was just, in a way, right time, right place, and it was just an opportunity came. But now it's a little crazy. So 7 months is really possible. Just be patient. Remind your essay, especially if you have done your pre-spend. Just remind him or her, and just be patient. It will come. Trust me, it will. Just hang on. Yilu33, reseller route or store route? I plan to get a K25 or K20 Celia gold or black palladium hardware, and you have an Hermes relationship and you have an essay relation at Hermes. Oh, this is a tough question. It really depends. I know people who are very wealthy who prefer the reseller route because they get exactly what they want without all the hassle and the, you know, secrecy and the, you know, skidding around the essay like, can I get a bag, can I get a bag? They prefer that. It's just, it's easy, it's not complicated, and you know, no need to waste your brain cells. So depends on what you're willing to do. I went through both routes. I like the reseller route because it's quick. I get exactly what I want. I pay a little bit of premium, but it works. I went through the store route, and obviously I'm paying a lot of money for something that I can have easily gotten from the reseller. But I kind of enjoy it as well because I'm exploring the brand. Hard to give you an answer which is a better route. I think it depends on what you want to experience. The reseller route, you don't get that magical feeling, which for some people, I don't really care. You don't like that romantic feeling of being offered a bag. Some people don't care, like some of my wealthy friends, they just don't care. They just want the bag and use it. Then go reseller route. But if you want that romanticness of being offered a bag, which I'm kind of a little romantic that way, I kind of, I kind of like that feeling. I'm paying for that. I'm paying that premium for that. Would I do it forever? I don't think so. I think eventually all of us will be doing the reseller route because how many things can you buy, right? But in any case, probably assess what you want when you get the bag. Last question from Framati. Do you plan to move away from Singapore long term? Love the catwalks. Thank you. Well, I have been here in Singapore for over 10 years and I love it here. Would I move away from Singapore means I would move back to Malaysia? The answer is probably a yes. I feel like this is transitional for me now, but I cannot read the future, so who knows? Maybe it might be move to Singapore permanently and be here forever. But my family is back in Malaysia. My mom, my dad, my husband, obviously. Obviously, he comes down often, but as in, like, we have our life in Malaysia. So never say never to be here in Singapore, but there is familiarity back home. So, we'll see. I don't want to plan too far. Like, nowadays with social media, with live, everything's just so fast paced. I'm planning it like a month at a time, maybe even a week at a time because it's just so much going on. So anyway, that is all the questions. So thank you so much for all the questions. I apologize that I had to be teary in this Q&A. I hope I didn't trigger anyone. Just hope that was useful if you found that to be useful. But yeah, I enjoyed all the questions. Thank you. I love doing Q&As. They are one of my favorite videos to do. If you enjoyed it as well, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell as well so that you'll be notified when my next video goes up. Follow me on Instagram if you want to participate in the next month's Q&A. Otherwise, everyone, please take care and I will see you in my next video. Bye!